we'll see if this video actually makes the light of day, or if I'll chicken out and delete it. I am a person, I try to be positive. I love making people laugh. And if I'm being honest, a lot of that comes from a place of selfishness. I need to make jokes to make myself feel better. Honestly, that's how I get through everything, is humor and just being like, you know what? We're either gonna laugh or we're gonna cry. But I also, when I started out doing this, I promised, you know what? I'm gonna be fully transparent. And I feel like always being positive or, you know, trying to be funny, haha, is ultimately not gonna be doing anyone a service, because we do have feelings. As much as I try to pretend I do not, they do. And there's gonna be tough times. And if I'm being honest, I'm having a pretty tough, it's been a little bit of a stretch of a bad, I was trying to think of like days, weeks. I'm going through a little bit of a rough patch. And I know the good news is, like, I know why. Like, as a person who has honestly struggled with depression most of my entire life, you do kind of have an awareness that it's always a cycle, you know? And I do know this time of year, not as much sunshine. Going into the winter, I'm like, okay, brace yourself. We know we're gonna go into a lull here, and you just need to hang on. And that's, god damn, sorry, they're vacuuming outside my apartment complex. So if you hear that, I'm sorry, but that's what we get today. And so brace yourself, hang on, hang in there. And I think it's really important, especially if you, whether it's seasonal depression, I know there's multiple kinds of depressions and also levels. Like I said, you don't have to be at rock bottom to be depressed. Hopefully you don't hit rock bottom again, because rock bottom, they call it, it's ugly. But even if you're just, you know, a little bit of a lull, I think the self-awareness of knowing, like, I know what this is. I know it is temporary, and I know it's going to come back up again. And it's more just a matter of surviving the lows. And I'm kind of in that right now. And there's another, oh God, well, here we are. I said I'm going to be fully transparent. The end of 2021 really kicked my fucking ass. I'll be honest. I had originally planned to redo this whole, like, running dream and trying to figure things out in Boulder, Colorado. So I had packed up and I had moved from Los Angeles to Boulder, Colorado, which moving is so terribly stressful. I always, every time I move, I'm like, I am never doing this again. The next move I make is going to be in the casket, and that is it. And then invariably you have to, but anyways, moving was terrible. But I moved there, I got up to Boulder, and I was like, great, okay, never gonna move again. And a very close friend, someone that I've really trusted for years and years, and actually someone who was supposed to be helping me through this running journey, ended up sexually assaulting me. And at first I was just, first in shock, and then I was disgusted, and I was mortified, honestly. And so I didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell even my mom. You know, it took me about a week, I think, to gather even the courage. And at first I only broached it to her, being like, hey, this is fucked up what happened, right? Like, I was still in my mind, I was like, what he did to me, I needed someone to validate that was wrong. And clearly it was, but like, I was just so in shock. I think I was like, what the actual fuck? And it took a lot of courage for me even just to tell my mom. And she's like, she was mortified too. She's like, what? I was embarrassed, which not embarrassed because of like what it had happened to me, but embarrassed that I had been like duped by someone that I had trusted for years and years and years, and feeling I was stupid for, like, obviously I must have a terrible people gauge. You know what I mean? I was like, if I didn't see this coming, how am I ever going to trust anyone again? And I was embarrassed, which is a feeling you should never feel. If you are a victim of, you know, being sexually assaulted, there is no shame in that, because you did nothing wrong. And it was actually, I talked to my mom, and I have another person who I count as a kind of a second father, really helped me see that, be like, you know what? No, a victim isn't someone that has something bad happen to them, but it's someone that doesn't say anything or do anything, or just kind of lets it, you know, lets the other person kind of get away with it. And I was like, okay, you know what? I can't control what happened, but I can control how I feel and using my voice. So I reported that person to the police, which felt very freeing, if I'm going to be honest. It felt like, okay, you know what? It was finally, and it took me weeks, and I talked to a therapist, you know, as well to get to that point. But I think I felt so betrayed by someone that I had trusted for a very long time. And then I was embarrassed, got over that. I'm not embarrassed anymore. Obviously now I'm telling everyone. I'll be honest, this actually was not something that I was going to be taking to my YouTube or part of my story here. I was just going to be like, well, we're not going to talk about that. But I think there's going to be more power, and it may be more helpful to people if I do talk about it. And plus, I feel like it's just so much easier if everything's just out there, because secrets are just going to hang in the shadows and they'll just eat you alive. So we're talking about it. And so, but ultimately I was like, I can't stay up here. I can't stay up here when the person that I had originally trusted to help me get my running back is now a monster, and I don't want to be here. So I looked around, I talked to my family, I talked to my very trusted, my best friend, who was my coach when I was running for Nike, who honestly has saved my life in a lot of different ways. And I was like, you know what? I want to go back to Portland. I miss Portland. I know the area. I have friends here. I have a community. So I moved again. In the span of 2 months, I moved between 3 different states, which it was just really, again, I hated moving. On top of it, there was the whole assault and dealing with the police and everything, and that amount of stress. Finally got into Portland, and I was like, great, okay, on the ground running. We're doing this running dream. And then I hurt my Achilles, and then I couldn't even run. And it felt like the world was kind of just slapping me in my face, because running is more than just running to me. It's also my coping mechanism for stress, for anxiety. And what was I dealing with at the moment? Tons of stress, tons of anxiety. And then I was like, and then you fucking take my running? Like, what the fuck, universe? And I started, you know, just being like, God damn, it's just the frustration, and kind of feeling that it's like all of the odds are just gonna keep stacking up on top of you. It's like adrenal fatigue and chronic fatigue. That's not enough, and we're gonna hurt your Achilles too. And I was like, you know what, that's okay. We're just gonna take it in stride. I'm still very excited, you know, to be in Portland, start this new chapter. You know, we got the cross trainer, we've got everything. And so a couple months go by, and I was also working. I freelance write, I do whatever, trying to pay bills, man. We're all just trying to do a bunch of things. So, but I freelance write, but I also do Uber. And the Uber, the way the pay thing works is like, if you need to work nights and weekend nights, I can make a cognitive sentence. Weekend nights, and usually late. And so what started happening is then I was staying up too late, and then I was waking up too late, which for my depression is, and I'm not going to be meaner to myself and say I should have known better. When I wake up too late, it just fucks with my head. Regardless, I think there is something to be said for circadian cycles. And I mean, you don't gotta be waking up at fucking 6 a.m. in the morning, but it's at the point now where it's like, I'm waking up past noon, and that's not okay, because then I wake up and I don't feel good. And I know it has something to do with like the lack of the sun and everything, and also just feeling off. And so I think what happens is also the later you're in bed, at least for me personally, and I know why it is I'm dealing with a lot of life stress, and I think I wanted to downplay the amount of stress that moving and then moving again and all of that had on me. And I think I was like, I just go into survival mode. I'm like, it's fine. I'll make a joke, we'll crack a joke, we're gonna be good. Stay busy, stay occupied. But I think that's I think it caught up to me. And then I got sick the last 2.5 weeks, and I didn't get a test because I had actual COVID last year. So I guess this was my anniversary. I think I got the variant. I didn't get tested because they were all booked up. And I was like, well, I'll just, you know, stay by myself and isolate. The protocol is going to be the same. But it kicked my ass as far as like fatigue wise. And so I was feeling crappy on top of crappy on top of crappy. And I just, you know, like get to the point where you're in bed and you're like, what am I getting up for is really what we're getting at. And that's may sound dark, but that's just how your brain starts to work. And so the later I'm in bed and the harder it is for me to get up, it's like, I don't want to face the day. And then I have these OCD thoughts that kind of just, I'll lay in bed and I was just like, I don't want to get up and have to do everything that I know I have to do just to feel like a person. It feels like you have to climb Mount Everest, and I get really frustrated with myself. And it's like, why do you have to be like this? Like, why can't you just be normal, you know? And I'll get up and I will be fighting back the urge. I'm like, don't cry, just keep it together. Just do what you need to do. Do what you need to do. Just get on the treadmill, get on the cross trainer, you know, get your food, get the day started. But it's so hard just to get started. And there's, you know, when people are talking about working out and everything, keeping them sane, as it does for me, you still hit those days where it's like, starting is so hard. And like today, I was like, I wanted to stop after 5 minutes. And it was literally every 5 minutes after that. I thought, like, you could just get off now. But I also know myself enough to know that you're going to feel worse. You know what I mean? If you do that, because your coping mechanism are endorphins. You know what I mean? And so if you chose to just stay in bed all day, I can make a sense. If you chose to stay in bed all day, you would only feel worse. And I know that for a fact, because when I'll call it my rock bottom, I was staying in bed all day. And I guess trigger warning, I did try to take my own life 14 years ago now. I'm very thankful I was able to get to the hospital in time and I survived. But having that awareness of being like, when you're feeling at your lowest, you need to keep going and you need to cling to the things that make you feel okay. Even though your coping mechanisms may not be all that appealing, you're still gonna have days where it's like every minute you want to stop. And it's just a battle being like, I can keep going. It's okay. Like, and knowing that it's not always going to be like this. And I do know that. I know eventually my Achilles is going to heal. And I'm not only going to be on the cross trainer and the treadmill. And I will be able to run outside again. And I will be able to do a hard workout on the track, which I miss. And having the hope that I will figure out why I feel, you know, my chronic fatigue thing, everything. And just also working on I need to be honest, this is with me. My sleep habits I got to start going to bed earlier. I got to start getting up earlier. And I do know that. And just reminding myself that you can't choose your brain. You know what I mean? And it's sometimes, you know what? It's a bummer if you picked out of the hat one that's going to deal with some mental stuff, and it's just a roller coaster. But the older you get, the more you are able to understand your brain and maybe have, God, I hate the words, maybe have some compassion for it, because it's just, and it's weird, I feel like I'm almost talking about myself in the third person, because I understand my brain is me. So having some compassion for yourself and realizing, yeah, you know what? You're going through a tough time right now. And that's probably because if you slow back and zoom out, I have a very hard time zooming out on anything that I am doing. Like if I was struggling with something and recognizing, oh, that probably was difficult. I'm just like, I should be able to deal with it, handle it. But if I think about it as like a different person, like say my sister, say my sister had been through kind of what I had been through, I would have way more compassion for her. And I'd be like, oh my God, Shayla, that's her name. Shayla, of course you're probably not feeling your best. Like, you've kind of been through a shitstorm. Be nice to yourself. But it's so much harder to like flip it around and say that to me. So I think maybe that's what I'm using this video for, is just recognizing it's okay to give yourself a little bit of compassion. A little bit of compassion is actually probably going to help you. But I'm also saying this because I want you guys all to know, if you're going through something where maybe even it manifests in so many different ways. Maybe you're not even hurt, and maybe you're just like lacking the motivation. I'm going to keep using running just because it is it's the vein of what I'm doing here. It's also, I think about it too much. It's just what I relate to. So we're using it for that. You can relate it to it. You can extrapolate the metaphor to whatever you're dealing with. But, but even if you're not hurt, and there's going to be days where you're starting and you're like, God, why am I doing this? Because another thing that I get into my head about is I'm like, I was going to say I have, and then I was like, but also I couldn't decide whether I was going to say I have or I am. So as I said, I ham. I don't have a ham. I don't have green eggs and ham. I'm going to go with I am so far off of where I want to be running wise that it's a little demoralizing or daunting. And you kind of get in your head and you're like, what the fuck am I doing? What am I insane? First of all, if you're a runner, yes, you are insane. Insane in a good way, because we're just wired differently. But the insane people are the ones who do epic shit. That's just what it is. On the flip side, we also fail a lot. But that's okay, because if you're not failing sometimes, your fucking goals aren't high enough. You should fail. I have failed so many fucking times. The thing is though, learn from them, keep going. Don't let them derail you. Like, failures are powerful learning tools. And also truly, if you're not failing and you're hitting all your goals, you're doing a shitty job of goal setting. They should be higher. I mean, that's just my opinion. Again, who am I? Just some random person on the internet. But I think also, for me personally, a part of feeling so overwhelmed is not only everything that I was dealing with in life, and then injured on top of it and coming back. Thank goodness, knock on wood. Getting better. And also something to keep in mind when you're injuries, because it's very easy to spin out. Injuries, they do always heal. Like, it just takes time. And you just have to weather the storm. So it really comes back to what I was saying earlier, is you just have to hang on. You need to be kind to yourself. You need to do whatever you need to do to get through the day, and find your coping mechanisms and the habits that set you up for success. Whether it's having a normal sleep schedule, reaching out to a friend, talking to people. I keep little pictures of people that I love, or, trinkets. Trinkets is such a dumb word. I'm going to be honest. They're little toys or whatever. And I was like, in my mind, I'm like, saying toy sounds too immature. Trinkets, it's a toy, whatever. Just that remind you of, people that make you smile, things that just make you happy. And know that emotions, even depression, the lows don't always last, and you just have to hang in there. I'm going to also obviously preface this with saying, talk to a therapist. Some people in certain situations, you may, need medication on top of that. I'm not going to speak for getting out of depression that is a whole other video and everything. Reach out to the resources you need. But if you're not at like rock bottom, and, everyone kind of learns the ways that kind of help them feel better, and try to do them. And I think I'm going to get back to the other point I was going to make is like, whatever you're going through, if you are feeling overwhelmed or there's the days where you're just like laying in bed and you're like, God, I don't want to get up. We just got to get up. And that's what I did. I got up. I got on the treadmill. I wanted to stop after 1 minute and I kept going. I wanted to stop after 5 minutes and I kept going. And I wanted to stop then when I did the cross train, like the entire time, all I wanted to do was stop because it's been a tough couple days. But, so I'm holding back a burp and that's, but I know that I'm also getting so close to being able to run outside. And I also know that the days where I run, I feel better at the end, or run/cross training. And just have a little compassion for yourself, and also be crazy and insane enough to dream big enough that you might fail. Because at the end of the day, who really fucking cares if you fail? At least you fucking tried, right? Anyways, I will see if you're seeing this video, I didn't chicken the fuck out and just delete it. But I think I wanted to just let everyone know that it's okay to try to be positive as much. I think I try to be positive. We'll say like 90-10, okay? Try to be positive and keep going and use humor. Humor is a catch-all. And also, even in this post, I'm not all of my videos are going to be super, deep or whatever. I still had some jokes or whatever, because that's just built into my DNA. 90-10 though. And then I feel like you allow yourself moments where you vent and just be like, shit, dude, it's a little bit of a fucking tough time. But you don't stay in that, because if you stay there, you stay stagnant, and you just got to keep fucking moving forward. So 90-10. This is my little, life has kind of kicked my ass lately. Vent. And now I'm back to it. So I'll go fucking probably cuts out, fall down, do something stupid, get my humor up there. But it also feels good just admitting to yourself, we may not be feeling that great right now. That's okay, because you're still gonna keep going and it's gonna cycle back up again. That's what you have to remind yourself. And I do that at my lowest moments, being like, I know this is not gonna last forever. So anyways, I don't know. I don't know how to end this. I was just gonna say thank you for watching. If you did, good luck to you, regardless of what you're going through. Hang the fuck in there. And, I'm here for you. You can leave a comment if you, leave a comment. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe, it would be great. I would love as many people going through this with me. Not literally, I'm sorry if you're dealing with depression or anything. I meant like my video. I was just being selfish and saying I would love to have as many people watching my videos. And so what I meant was going through this with me, together with me, whatever. There's no non-way. I'm either going to sound like an asshole or a narcissist, and whatever. Subscribe if you are so inclined. That would be great. And yeah, you can always find me on Instagram. It's @KateSchock, CaitChock. And what I was going to say is send me a DM if you're struggling with something. You're not alone. I'm here too. Struggle busting on my own. But I'm laughing through it, okay? I swear to God, this roller coaster is going to go up and down, but there are going to be some great stories and fucking jokes along the way, okay? 90-10. 90-10. You fucking got this. Okay, thank you everyone for watching. I will see you in my next video. Hopefully, okay, thank you, bye. Wait, the burp came. For the people that hang on.
I'm a disaster. Ow.
There it was. I'm disgusting. Okay, sorry, bye.